Let me ask you, it's rare that you would practice going to the championship game and over your shoulder is a stadium with a banner for Super Bowl 55. Not that you need a visual reminder, but how unique is it to be so close and realize, that's where the game is?
Yeah, we don't play that game this week. That's the message to everybody. We play the Packers in the NFC Championship game. You start thinking about the Super Bowl, get your feet and be packing your bags on Monday.
Go to Greg Allman.
Bruce, you talked a bit Monday about Jason Licht and the job he's done with you in building this roster. I just want to ask you, obviously we point to Brady and Gronk and the big moves that you guys made. What are the things you would point to, the little things that Jason has done to help put you guys in a position to be where you are?
Yeah, I think you don't have to go any further than Aaron Stinney. Noticing that guy and getting him on our roster, and the talented free agents that we have, young players right now that were undrafted. I think Spytek and Bill and Mac and they do a great job of having the next man up ready, and so it's fun to work with guys who know what they're doing.
We'll go to Jenna Lane.
Hey, Coach. I know you guys activated Vita Vea, and he was out on the practice field today. Was wondering what you saw from him. Not sure how much you were able to see of him. But, yeah, what were your thoughts on the way he practiced?
He walked real good because that's all we did today. We did walk through. That was a really physical game last week, and, it's that time of year we don't need to be beating on each other. But we'll see him move around more tomorrow. I've watched him run for the last few weeks to get in shape, and he looks good.
We'll go to Scott Reynolds.
Bruce, you had such a convincing win over Green Bay last time. That doesn't have any bearing on this game, but how do you get that message across to some of your younger players who might be relying on what they did in Week 6 heading up to Green Bay?
It was the same thing as the Saints last week, having beaten us twice pretty badly once, and we won that ball game. You can't fall into that trap of what happened last time. They're a much better football team. We're a much better football team. Both very different right now. So you better take care of today's work each and every day today.
We'll go to Luke Easterling.
Bruce, some of the guys that, at least especially on defense, you said were kind of nicked up in that Saints game. Is there anybody that you are any worried about at all as far as their availability this week?
No, I feel like everybody be ready to roll on defense. Nobody feels good this time of year. If you feel good, you ain't playing. So there's a bunch of bumps and bruises but they won't keep them out.
We'll go over to Ben Bolin.
Hey, Coach. Greetings from Boston. Last year, you guys were last in the league with 41 turnovers. This year, you guys are tied for 7th with only 17 turnovers. Is that the difference between 7-9 and being in the NFC Championship game?
It's a huge part of it, and that was a major emphasis. That and eliminating penalties, getting more disciplined, was a huge part of our offseason. And obviously, Tom doesn't turn it over much, but we've hammered everybody about protecting the football, runners, anybody with their hands on the ball, and that and penalties.
We'll go back to Rick Stroud.
Bruce, I don't know if it would have been any different if Ronald Jones was 100%. Obviously, like everybody, he's fighting through some stuff. But in a weird way, you're always going to use more than one running back. But does this combination now that we saw against New Orleans with Leonard and Ronald really help you guys in terms of the change of the pace and just keeping guys fresh?
No doubt, Rick. No doubt. Both those guys I consider starters. So it's a matter of just getting guys in there and keeping them fresh. Who's got the hot hand, that whole thing. And I really like the way I thought Rowe had his confidence back and really hit the holes hard. I thought Leonard played outstanding. So, yeah, it's a heck of a 1-2 punch and just having fresh legs out there all the time.
We'll go to Ryan Wood with the Green Bay Press Gazette.
Hey, Bruce, it's obviously a little colder up here than it is down in Southwest Florida. I'm curious, is there anything you're doing differently this week to prepare for the cold up here, and how much of an obstacle do you see that?
I don't really consider 28 degrees cold. I grew up in the north. We got a lot of guys that played in Green Bay and played in colleges up north. The weather won't affect the ball game, I don't think, at all.
We'll go over to Jenna Lane.
Hey, Coach, you were asked a few moments ago about injured players and everything. With Antonio Brown, I know his MRI came back, no structural issues. Do you believe that he'll play this week, or is it still too early to tell?
It's too early to tell. He'll be day to day.
Thank you, Coach.
Bet.
We'll go to Scott Reynolds.
Bruce, after watching the game tape from Devin White's performance from Sunday, was this the best game of his career so far? And if so, what made it that way for you?
I would say it's one of them. He's had some really, really good ones. Obviously, the splash plays, the interception, the fumble recovery. The rest of it is just typical Devin. I mean, flying around, making tackles, exactly what we expect of him. But the splash plays help make it one of his best games, yes.
We'll go to James Palmer.
Bruce, with the way you guys have been able to run the football the second half of the season, how does that change when you run play action, that you see how teams reacted when you can run the football well, the way you guys have with both those guys lately?
Yeah, I mean, they go hand in hand. I mean, play action, if you're not running it, is really just, you might as well just go maximum protection and just drop back. But when you're running it, that fraction of changing somebody's eyes, an initial step in the wrong direction, gets people open, and it makes it easy. So, yeah, they go hand in hand.
We'll go over to Doug Farrar.
Hi, Coach. The development of your offense with Brady this year, and you've worked with a lot of new quarterbacks, obviously, over the years, and specifically the use of pre-snap motion. How often do you and Tom get together and talk about, just in season and in the week and in the development of the game plan every week? How often do you two get together and maybe Tom will say, well, maybe let's do this. You'll say, well, I'd like to do that. And over the last half of the season, how has that really come together?
Yeah, I think it's been a work from day one, finding his likes, what he finds our likes are. Byron's done a great job, of making him as comfortable as possible when we get to Sunday, just hammering it out from Monday all the way through, all the way to Saturday. We're doing things on Saturday, changing some things that we saw in practice or didn't like in practice. So it's a continued effort just to get to Sunday.
Go back to Scott Reynolds. Time for a few more.
Bruce, when did you realize that Vita Vea might have a chance to return? Because I think we asked you about a month ago or so, and you ruled it out at that time.
Yeah, it was about 3 weeks ago, and I saw him running in the pool, and then on the Ultra G, and it's like, man, he's getting close. And once I finally saw him outside running, I thought, and he wanted to play. That was the big part. He wanted to come back. I said, hey, we'll keep winning. You keep working, and it'll work out, and it has.
We'll go over to Hobie Artigue.
Hi, Coach. I mean, some of your rookies you're relying on a lot this season. How have you seen them handle the moment in the playoffs over the last 2 games, especially since this is clearly new territory for that group?
Yeah, they've been fantastic. Tristan and Antoine, I really don't consider them rookies anymore. As many games as they played during their sophomore year, almost to the end of it. But Tyler stepped in. Khalil's done a great job. I mean, just about everybody we've had has had a role in what we're doing and embraced their role. And Keyshawn Vaughn has done a hell of a job. I mean, yeah, everybody's put their hand in the pile and accepts their role and is ready when their role changes.
We'll close out with James Palmer.
Bruce, apparently I'm obsessed with play action. So on the other side of how you have to defend it, you guys are very good at defending play action. Obviously, Aaron is really good at running it. Is that what Todd teaches? Is that your linebackers' athletic ability? What makes you guys pretty decent?
It starts with stopping the run. Once you shut down the run, it's a little bit easier to get to the play action. Now they're really, really good at it. And Matt has a great system, and Aaron has mastered it. And it will be probably one of our biggest challenges is to handle their play action game.
Okay, that's all for today. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.